My f27 fiancé m27 is in love with his sister. I remade the post on a throwaway cause my fiancé regularly uses Reddit as well. Title says it all. So my fiancé and I have had a hard relationship together. Not saying that it was abusive or toxic, just we both went through hard times and struggles. When we got together he introduced me to a lot of people including Allie, not real name. A girl who is like a sister to him. She is early 20s and at one point while we were talking he told me that he really wanted to date Allie but that it never seemed to work out, that she always had a boyfriend or just rejected him. A few months ago he proposed and I was happy about that and it was fine. We ended up moving back to his hometown and by extension closer to Allie. Again I didn't mind, the place is beautiful. One day he asks if he can offer Allie to move in with us. I was floored by the request because we didn't have the room unless one of us slept on the floor. I told him we didn't have that option right now and I am sorry, to which he got mad at me over it, saying I was only saying no because I was jealous of Allie or that I was being selfish. It made no sense, so I asked him what was wrong but he didn't want to answer. I let it go and tried to focus on our life again but it kept eating away at me. Fast forward, I noticed that he was acting weird the other day when he was texting on his phone. I went to cuddle him and normally he just keeps texting while I have my head on him and I can see what he's doing, but he immediately hid his phone and I asked him why. He said don't worry. I told him his behavior doesn't sit right with me and he immediately told me I was being insecure because of what my exes did to me. I told him that they had done the same thing and they were cheating, why would he do it knowing it's suspicious? While I do recognize that he isn't the same, it was still sus. Fast forward a few nights, I open up his phone as I know his code. Lo and behold, I find hundreds of messages between him and Allie Erping. I just put the phone back and tried to just figure something out, like I don't know, it's fake roleplay, right? But just a bit ago he asked to use the PS5 since I was using my Switch on the TV. I said sure and went to the other room. Well, I overheard them on the mics together. At one point he called her baby and another point he said my love. Now I just feel numb. I am at a loss. Should I even stay in this relationship? I literally left everything for him. TLDR. My fiancé loves a girl who is supposed to be his sister. I am assuming I am just a placeholder. A girl who is like a sister to him. According to who? He told you flat out that he has wanted to date this girl for a long time. He does not see her as a sister. Like I don't know, it's fake roleplay, right? He's calling her baby, my love, flirting with her, etc. He's cheating on you with this girl. You can either stay and continue to be cheated on or leave him because you deserve better. But either way you can't continue to live in denial. Honey, that ain't ever been his sister and never will be. You're the placeholder until Allie becomes available, and it looks like she did because he's been cheating on you ever since. Wake up and get out of this shit show. You're the third wheel in your own relationship. First, secure a job and housing somewhere else. Then pack up, put the ring on the table with a note to give it to Allie, and drive away. This cannot be real. I dislike clickbait titles so much. And I guess it is nearly wasted time to tell you what you already know. My 21F boyfriend, 21M, wants to go traveling with his ex for 5 weeks. I will try to keep this short. My boyfriend wants to go to South America for 5 weeks in the summer. We're from the UK for reference. He hasn't done heaps of solo traveling before and it's quite a long trip to go on his own, especially somewhere so far away. I have work that I cannot take off, so it's definitely not an option for me to go. None of his mates can afford the trip and are bad traveling partners based on previous experience. The only person who is really suitable to go with him is his ex-girlfriend. Details of the ex. To be honest, they are hardly exes. They fancied each other for 2 years and went on a bunch of trips together. They travel really well together. Nothing happened between them because they were both a bit useless about making a first move, so it never really went further during this time, but they were both interested. Just really good friends who fancied each other. Eventually they started dating, but my boyfriend moved away, so they were long distance for 2 months. Their first kiss was 2 months into their relationship. They never had sex, and a few days later they broke up. She broke up with him because her therapist told her it wasn't good for her to be in a long-distance relationship right now. Since their breakup, however, they have remained quite close friends. They've been on a couple trips together since and have kissed a few times since then, but nothing further than a drunk peck from what I gather. They remain super positive friends who text sometimes, never really call, and see each other when they happen to be in the same place. Now this idea of his 5 weeks traveling has come up, and I feel anxious at the thought of him going with his ex-girlfriend. Really not a lot happened between them, but I know that they had a very close friendship for a long time and attraction on both sides. I feel as though 5 weeks spent with your ex who you fancied for so long is just recipe for disaster. My boyfriend has never done anything to make me not trust him. He is very honest and we have amazing communication. We have spoken about this already and he understands and agrees with many of the points I make. I feel that I can't tell him what to do or what not to do though, and I don't want to come across as a controlling girlfriend. The thought of this just makes me feel so anxious, since we've got something really good here. Please, strangers on the internet, what is your advice? This would be a deal breaker for me, 100%. Don't feel pressured into being the cool girlfriend because anyone would be sussed out by this too. Lol at this. Hang out in a barbershop, you're bound to get a haircut. Ask him how he would feel if it was you traveling with your ex who broke up with you. Who is now a close friend of yours. Would he be okay with that? I bet he wouldn't. If they had broken up for a good reason, didn't like each other romantically anymore but were better as friends. But that's not why they broke up. They fancied each other for 2 years. You don't say how long you have been together. But those feelings don't go away quickly. He may not act on them because you're together. But being together with her the 24th or the 7th of May rekindle something and make them want to try and make it work. My 29F ex's 32M mom showed up at my workplace. This will probably get lost, but I would have at least vented. I broke up with my boyfriend of almost 4 years a month or so ago. It was not mutual. He believes I made a big mistake and that I was fucking up both our lives. Regardless, the distance between us was too much for me, and while nothing has really happened, no big relationship ruiners, I am done with the relationship. It doesn't bring me joy, and I don't want to be with someone who doesn't make me happy. Over the 4 years, we discussed marriage, and when we spoke about it I very much believed it's what I wanted. But, over time I got more and more convinced it wouldn't work out for me. He also discussed this with his parents, while I am not very close to mine and they didn't know how serious things were or how things were progressing. This was also a pain point in the relationship. Now, a month after ending things, his mother showed up at my workplace. I work in retail, and so anyone can walk in as a customer. She asked all my colleagues where I was while I was literally hiding at work. I feel violated and angry. I think she had no right to show up at work. If she wanted to talk, then she should have called me or asked to meet elsewhere. Now, I am sure she'll come again. And this time I want to be ready. I don't want to hide. I have no idea what she would want to talk about, perhaps ask about why the relationship ended, or why I did what I did. But, any advice about what I should say to make it clear that this is unacceptable behavior? I don't want to be rude, but I also need everyone in my ex's family to understand that the relationship is done, and that it's between me and my ex. No, this shouldn't have to inconvenience you. I went through something similar and my manager stood up for me. He saw what was about to happen and he found me, told me what he believed was going on and told me to hide and he would take care of it. And he did. Your manager should handle this on your behalf. You are not the one causing unnecessary drama. It's not like your ex is showing up and you just have a questionable taste in men. It's his mother. Your manager should simply say, "I heard you're looking for a particular employee. We are not allowed to divulge information on our employees past, present and future. If you are here to buy something, you can ask me for assistance if you have any questions." I guarantee you she will leave and not return. Tell your manager. Cover your ass. This is harassment. There is nothing we need to discuss. Coming here to discuss this is inappropriate. Direct your questions to your son. Additional information: I am the manager, see no evil, and while I would do exactly what all of you are suggesting for any of my colleagues, I don't know what to do for myself. Also, since I was hiding and didn't let on that I was at the store, I don't want to message the ex to say I know your mother was there. He'll just get the opportunity to say, "Oh, so you were there and still didn't meet her." I think the right thing to do would be to have a conversation and say, "This is my workplace, you can't come here." And if she doesn't listen, then tell the ex to figure it out. My concern is the drama that she is going to do when I do meet her to say this. This isn't okay, and the fact that she's probably there to try and force you to get back together with him is really weird. Seems like a case of an overbearing mom, and honestly I would tell your boss. Get a paper trail going and see if you can't work out something with your boss to keep you safe and her away. My 26 male girlfriend, 26 female, didn't tell me she was intimate with her friends before we met. I just found this out, so I really apologize if any of this comes off wrong. My girlfriend and me met at college and we have been together for 5 years. I was kind of a loner in college while my girlfriend had a group of friends she always hung out with, and I was kind of indoctrinated in a way and have been friends with them for the 5 years I've been with my GF. When we first started dating, we sat down one night and talked about our previous relationships. Never did she once mention that she had been intimate with most of the guys in our group of friends. My friend and I were talking this morning about when we first met, and how we met through my GF. He made a comment about how I really turned her around and how she's really changed for the better since she met me, and I had no idea what he was talking about. He was shocked I didn't know, and told me that before we met, my girlfriend was very active. She had slept with some of the guys in our group, and sent nudes to most of them. After hearing this, I asked a different friend if this was true, and he gave me the same, "You didn't know?" type of response. Now I don't really care that she slept around before she met me. I already knew she was very active. She told me from the get-go. She just never told me it was her friends, who are now my friends. Friends me and her still talk to and hang out with every day. She'll be home soon and I don't really know what to think or how to navigate this. I can see a couple of reasons to feel unhappy with the situation. Being the only one in the room who doesn't know the truth leaves one feeling like a chump, and b, on the outside of the circle of trust that everybody else seems to be inside. Wondering whether past intimacies would have some people presuming to take present liberties. But more specifically, that discussion of these sorts of boundaries can't even happen because of the choice to keep me ignorant. I really dislike the idea of being the one operating at the biggest disadvantage in a social group. That's pretty much the opposite of what an intimate relationship should be, when the supposed most intimate partner is also the one being de facto most excluded. I personally would not be able to date someone who has been with most of her friends group and is still actively friends with them. You should re-evaluate the relationship. She lied to you and kept a secret from you for your entire relationship. Does being lied to for 5 years and the disrespect of having you hang out with a group of guys she fucked when everyone knew it but you bother you? I'd wonder what else she is lying about. The friends at least sound like decent people. I'm glad she's a better person now, but you've been lied to since day one. She still lied about screwing all these dudes she keeps in her friend group, and for that reason, I'd be out. If it were me and I had known this info in the early stages of dating, I wouldn't have gotten involved with her in the first place. I prefer my partners trustworthy.